was that command grab for him. Not only just in that last sequence of the game, but earlier on we saw in game number 1, just giving himself a whole bunch of space on the ledge that really wound up being creating himself a nice little ledge guard situation that he was able to take advantage of. That might have well been the difference in that set if he was not able to capitalize in that game number 1. But we're going to be moving on now, and okay, now we're getting back to Rob action. Thank goodness. I was starting to believe that maybe we weren't in DFW.
Yeah, that's because he was banned.
Yeah.
But now he's not banned, and Beastly, ever so happy. Beastly, you know, he's one of the, you know, people most frustrated by DLC2 at some times. Min Min being one of the characters that, of course, he can be frustrated by at times, but you know, he was like, oh, banning Rob. He's like, I can't play Rob in the matchups I want to play Rob in, namely against a lot of the DLC too. But now he gets the ability to do that. Rob is here against dezly's Min Min. I believe maybe winner's quarters. I'm not sure how many people were here tonight, but this seems like something that would happen pretty deep in the bracket, and Beastly taking a pretty deep trip to the blast zone.
Yeah, and dezly is, this is one of those dudes that's really taken to Min Min and made the character his own. Because obviously in Pokemon Stadium 2, you have a lot of room to work with in terms of flat ground. And you get to challenge Gyro. You don't get to win neutral for free if you're Beastly, who is taking a pretty deep trip below the ledge. Not uncharacteristic of Rob, but still maybe a little surprised in that situation.
It's something you want to be proactive against Min Min when she's off stage, obviously, because that is where she's at the weakest. But you know, Beastly does still need to get that flow chart down. And dezly, when it comes to a lot of Min Min players, again, like he used to be a Palutena main. He is pretty scrappy, all things considered, as a Min Min player, and especially when it comes to, you know, nailing down his recoveries, keeping him a disadvantage, it can be difficult sometimes. And this will almost definitely not be a stock because dezly has mastered Mario Party, and who do you think you are? I am!
Oh no. Goodness gracious, bowling a strike right down the middle, and that is going to be an up air, eventually getting Beastly on the board, but dezly right now, this is looking like firmly in the driver's seat. No real reason to interact. It's going to be Beastly. Okay, you can go ahead and bring your big mechanical body over to me because I have no reason to make anything happen on my own right. But Beastly,
interesting use of
the call here.
The sour spot up tilts to keep that combo going, just right there near the ledge. Again, this is one of those things where it's like normally like a regular Rob player would not go for that, but Beastly is. He's not even a Rob player. He plays like 40 characters at like a tournament-ready level, and this is just one of them. So he's just like, I know what these tools do, and if the up tilt keeps on sour spotting, then I'll keep on getting my damage. I don't care.
It is a little bit of a peculiar choice, though, because the Rob does have to work a little harder in this matchup than you generally would.
I don't fully agree with that. I think that, I mean, you are trying to take the burden off of yourself when you're playing a character like Rob, because otherwise he's trying to get in as a Ness, or he's getting edge guarded as a Fox, and here you can avoid a lot of those bad situations. Plus, I mean, the opportunity cost of, you know, you hit Min Min once with a gyro, you get your up throw into forward airs, you get her in the corner off stage, then things can go south very, very poorly for Min Min. So this is definitely one of her hardest matchups.
I guess I was thinking more in comparison to other characters you might play, not necessarily characters that Beastly play, but you're absolutely right. Considering how, oh my goodness, you do have to contend in the air with Min Min, just if she wants to nair over and over again. That can't possibly be the easiest thing for the Nest, but the Megawatt is something that you have to contend with as well. Beastly, that's an execution test, and he passed. Standing his ground at 140, but the Megawatt will find its mark eventually, not for a kill just yet. Beastly alive at 161 until that happens.
And I can bet that Beastly just said, well, run it back, because I know that dezly's down to do that. I know that Beastly is certainly a run it back to PS2 kind of guy, and it seemed like he did have, you know, some of the right ideas in that matchup. There are just a couple of times where, again, the execution is what really matters, and when you're not playing, you know, the #1 or #2 character in your arsenal, right? Beastly brings out Rob for, I think, like 5 or 6 matchups probably. This is a character where he is going to thrive, particularly in a matchup like this when the punish game is just brutally, brutally optimized, and we do need to see a bit more of that from Beastly because there have been a couple of drop combos and a couple of dropped opportunities where he could really be taking advantage of, just like this, right, where the Min-Min's off stage, but he commits a little bit too early, and again, dezly being good with those recoveries is not making Beastly's job any easier.
Definitely willing to challenge dezly with a lot of these hitboxes. And I kind of wonder, I mean, that game number 1 may well have been decided at the beginning because we saw dezly with a full stock lead and it went down to last hit. He cut down a few of those mistakes and all of a sudden we're talking about a completely different game. Beastly recognizing that and with 63% on this Rob, trying to take a full stock lead of his own in this game number 2.
And there it is again, right? This is the ledge trapping that has needed to find success for Beastly. Does let dezly get back to center stage, but again, being a lot more selective with where he's actually pressing these buttons and letting dezly get his opportunities to dart past him and get back to center stage, because you can tell that's where he wants to be, and dezly not able to find his way down with that down air either. Beastly's ready for that too.
I mean, Beastly just seems like it's a lot more ready for dezly's attacks than perhaps dezly is ready for Beastly's. So we're seeing now. Yeah, it's a little cumbersome to pilot the Rob in midair, but then again, dezly not there to react to it and caught with that afterburner back air. Beastly, all of a sudden, 3 stocks to 1, only suffering about 30 percentage points worth of damage in that second stock. That's efficient gameplay for Beastly, especially considering all the hitboxes that he's throwing out.
I mean, it's really down to the fact that he is not, you know, compared to that first game, he's not just throwing out tons of hitboxes and hoping that Rob is going to do all that work for him. Like, he's playing a lot more smartly with the space, trying to not do too much all at once, and he is finding a lot of success because dezly has left himself open a couple of times, or, you know, even himself, you know, just tried to stay, like, fluid, but then you're not doing the thing that Min-Min does best, which is throwing out arms and controlling the space, and Beastly's done a great job of mixing all that up here in this game, too.
And that is kind of the ethos of it, isn't it? Because, I mean, Rob is one of those characters that has been complained about since this game came out. And then Min-Min came out and everyone started complaining about her. But then again, it is one of those characters that can kind of challenge Rob's nonsense, the stuff that he does automatically. You cannot autopilot. You can't just set it and forget it with this thing. This ain't Ronco. You do have to have a little bit of a brain and figure out this matchup. And Beastly seems to have it down somewhat, as we're going to be getting to a last stock situation, though Beastly can end it if you catch him off stage. I think we could be seeing the Wally Wop in the future.
This is something I've seen Beastly struggle with in the past. Does get dezly with the down throw, up tilt, up air, and, you know, a couple of times, right, we saw that dezly has been able to mash out of that extremely quickly, didn't leave himself vulnerable to the combo, but a couple of times the mash wasn't there, and Beastly just kind of calling him out and being like, you're not going to mash out of that every time.
No, all will fall to the chance time up there. That's just how it works. You spin the wheel and you see where it lands. Time Wizard was not kind to you this time.
And today I win Mario Party.
Yep, there you go.
dezly took him to town. You know,
I don't hate it.
The moment I say it out loud, I'm like, well, Rob usually likes to kill you early off stage, but if he's getting that crazy stuff on you as a Min-Min, you're probably dead anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, and really, dezly, for what it's worth, doesn't really seem like he's been getting caught offset. Like, don't get me wrong, there have been points where he's been in a disadvantageous position, but hasn't been caught off stage all that often. I kind of wonder if it's a mental thing. And just as I say that, you see the forward air kill.
You thought you were immune to the commentator's curse. You forgot. You forgot it never goes away.
I drove 25 hours to be here, and I still can't escape it, Kimona. It's unreal.
It follows you wherever you go. You chose this life. And Beastly, choosing the life of the Rob, is living high on the hog. 62% is all he's taken. And again, you know, he starts hitting dezly a little bit, and it's going to go a long way. And again, like Town and City, we saw that last stock. I mean, he forward smashes him. He's already close to the blast zone. dezly has to commit to a quick recovery. Beastly wasn't off stage to connect it that time, but down throw, up tilt, up air. dezly knows he can take that because he is on Town and City, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons he chose this, is that Beastly's been relying on that up tilt, up air a lot to take these stocks, and dezly's like, well, you know, at a high enough percent, I'll probably be able to, I'll be dead anyways if I mash out, and at those lower percents, I'm not going to die off the top.
Exactly, and considering how short the ceiling is on Pokemon Stadium, can't possibly have hurt. Does not seem to be making all that much of a difference, though, because Beastly all of a sudden taking dezly down to last stock. qualification in the next round in sight. In the robotic eyes of Rob, all the things that computer could be processing. All you see in front of him is a victim. And dezly is going to fight back, however. 20%. This is about the same situation as dezly was in the last time, taking that first stock finally.
Yeah, I think that we talked about the stage a lot, but I think what it comes down to is that after that game one, Beastly's just been playing a whole lot better, right? He's been choosing his spots to engage way better. He has been hitting dezly with things that lead to a lot more, right? A total shift from that game one where it seemed like he just couldn't get the offense going and left himself vulnerable to dezly's really big hits back and forth. It just hasn't been that way these last couple of games, and dezly hasn't been able to muster enough offense in response to keep up with what Beastly's been doing. That's why he's on his last stock and just a hit away from dropping the set after going up 1-0.
Yeah, it makes you wonder just how much dezly has left in the tank here. Beastly at 112%, but it's been a little easier for Beastly to get these kills than elsewise, but still rolling into that up smash, maybe a little ill-advised, but Beastly looking to take advantage of the invincibility off of the Angel platform. Can't blame him.
Phenomenal
but how
recovery.
much room do you have? The answer is none. And 2 up smashes from dezly wound up doing the job. It took the 1 from Beastly at the very end to seal the deal for UTA's very own Beastly.
Yeah. Again, I just think that after that game one, Beastly just remembered how to fight this character with this character and, cleaned up the gameplay really, really well. And dezly had a couple of moments where, again, he was getting his average amounts of hits in. I feel like he was playing Min just fine. Beastly was just playing around the traditional Min playstyle really, really well. And at the end of the day, both times it got down to that last stock, I had the thought where I'm like, man, I've seen Beastly get again, the patience was working so well for him. I was kind of afraid that he would start running in and getting desperate for the kill, especially if dezly got a couple of hits started, but he stayed composed and he was able to finish it out.
And well done on that part, because you did see the gears kind of start to turn for dezly, and it really looked like game number 1. It could have gone very convincingly towards Dez in that.
Sorry, the Red Bull, boy, I need it. The flavor does not hit me the way that I need it to, but it does its job, and I know. I'm saying that this does exactly what I need it to.
Oh yeah. No, hey,
I do not want to feel relaxed with a sweet sucre.
Yeah. And we're going to get a little bit of a hand warmer here with DJ Don, and I did hear an Incineroar coming out, so that is going to be interesting. To see how Incineroar Steve